Today, I'm going to show you how to replace the front wheel on this bike. It's a pretty simple task, but there's a few things you should take note of. So this video is geared more towards a motocross bike with forks that have pinch bolts. However, you can use these tips on conventional style axles as well. If you have a front rotor guard, we're going to pull that off first. Now loosen up the axle nut and the axle pinch bolts. The axle should slide out pretty easily now, and you can remove the wheel from the bike. Before reinstalling your wheel and axle, it's always a great idea to clean your axle and re-grease it. To keep the axle clean and easily accessible, I like to slide it in the fork lug. The first step to putting the wheel back on the bike is sliding the rotor between the brake pads. You may have to spread the brake pads apart. Once your brake rotor is lined up, make sure your axle spacers are in place and slide the axle through. Sometimes the axle will need a little bit of force to drive it all the way through. I'd recommend putting a blue Loctite on the axle threads, and then you can put the nut back on. Before tightening your pinch bolts, you want to torque the axle nut to the correct spec. On this bike, it's 65 foot-pounds. If the axle nut won't tighten all the way without the axle spinning, you can tighten down the pinch bolts on the rotor side only. On this bike, I was able to torque it fully without tightening the pinch bolts. Regardless, you'll need to torque these pinch bolts evenly. The spec for this model is 15 foot-pounds. The reason for not tightening the right side pinch bolts yet is because we need to align the forks. You'll want to make sure your right side fork moves freely on the axle like this, so that way we can align it. There are two ways to align the forks. You can either take the bike off the stand and compress the front forks, or you can spin the front wheel and grab the brakes. Either way is pretty effective. As you can see in this clip, as soon as I grab the brakes, the fork slides on the axle to align it. Once the forks are aligned, you want to torque the pinch bolts immediately. Try not to move the bike around too much. Again, it's best to torque these pinch bolts evenly. Alright, that's about it. If you've got a rotor guard, reinstall it and we're finished. I hope this helped out. I just recently made a video on replacing your rear wheel, so head over to the channel and check that one out. I'll see you guys later.